You're listening to Greater Good Radio Hawaii. Please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. Today's guest is Larry Johnson, board member of the Hawaii Tourism Authority, Hawaii Pacific University, the Hawaii Community Foundation, and the Nature Conservancy of Hawaii. He is also an active member on several advisory boards and serves as a director of the Star Bulletin and Trex Enterprises, Inc. So you mentioned your involvement in the Heart Association. From that experience, what did you take from that, and how did it relate to your leadership in Bank of Hawaii?
Well, when I first went on the board of the Heart Association, I was by far the youngest member of that board, and most of the other members were older business people and physicians here in town. And so I had an opportunity to learn from them. I think they were somewhat surprised that I would be willing to take on an assignment like that at such a young age. So it was an overall learning experience. From that Heart Association opportunity here in Hawaii, I said earlier, I went on the board of the American Heart Association, which required me to go to New York 2 to 3 times a year for board meetings. And I'd only been to New York maybe one other time in my life, but this was an opportunity to be able to meet some very high-level people and to learn from them.
So did you find that by doing the community service, it helped your career because you met so many other people in high-level positions in philanthropy?
Most definitely. I would recommend to any young person that's looking at building a career to get involved with the community, to get involved with organizations, particularly organizations that you seem to enjoy or have some desire to be part of. I know a lot of business to the bank directly because of the contacts that I made. I learned a great deal from associating with people that were at much higher level in the business community and socially than I was. And it was, I would say that there's no way in the world I could have moved up into the organization of the Bank of Hawaii if I hadn't been active in various community projects.
Did you encourage this when you were CEO of Bank of Hawaii?
Definitely.
With your employees?
Yes, we encourage all of the employees of the bank. I mean, this is not from the management level all the way down to the tellers to get involved, whether it be your church or your community organization or a nonprofit or for-profit or whatever, but go out and get involved and be active. Because not only will that help you grow and develop as an individual, but it will also help the organization and the community in which we live.
And how much time were you spending on nonprofit and community organizations outside of your regular work schedule?
Well, it's hard to say how many, what percentage, but obviously my main responsibility in terms of my working life was at the Bank of Hawaii. My main responsibility in terms of my whole life was my family. And that's one thing that young people should not lose sight of, that the most important thing that you can do if you have a family is to take care of that family and to be with your kids and go to the soccer games and go to the baseball games and do things together on weekends and have dinner together at night and don't lose sight of that as being the primary responsibility. I know there were a number of evenings where I would much rather have been home with my family, but I was out being involved in various community activities. As to how much time I spent on that, I really don't know, but it was a meaningful amount of time.
So how did you actually manage your time, especially as you moved up the organization, you became president and CEO? Your demands of the job become much greater.
Kind of like being a juggler, in a way, and you have to set priorities, and you have to exercise judgment all the time, every single day. I mean, almost every single hour you need to ask yourself, is what I'm doing the appropriate thing for me to do right now? And there's no hard and fast rule that I could explain to say this is how you manage those responsibilities. You just have to be cognizant of family, your business, and your community activities all at once, and make decisions as to how much time you need to spend and when you need to spend it.
And what advice would you give our listeners in regards to having goals and aspirations from wherever you start all the way to the top, as well as getting involved in the community?
Well, first of all, I think the most important thing is to do what you enjoy doing. And if after 5 years I still didn't enjoy working at the Bank of Hawaii, I would have left. But after about 5 years, I really started to like it. And my suggestions to anybody that's out there in the working world right now is, first of all, take a look at yourself and say, when I get up in the morning, am I excited? Am I looking forward to getting dressed and moving on and getting to my job or getting to my place of work? And also the same thing in the afternoon. If it's if you're the kind of person that's looking at your clock starting from 3 o'clock on, saying, I can't wait to get out of here, then that's a signal that you probably are in in the wrong place. Maybe you're not the round peg in the round hole. So you really have to, first of all, enjoy what you're doing.
So who was the person that, or people that had taught you to get involved with the community, even though you were really busy at work?
I don't think there was any one particular person that taught me that. I think we just realized that being in the world of banking, it's a community business, and you need to know your communities, and you need to get involved in your communities, and it's important that you become a leader in those organizations that involve that community where you are. It's just the nature of the business.
You know, Kelvin Takeda and I believe a number of other people that came through here mentioned Herb Cornell also, as well as Malcolm McNaughton, actually sitting them down and talking to them about this concept. Did they ever do that with you too?
No, I don't believe they ever did that with me, but sitting down and talking about it. But they certainly led by example. You mentioned Herb Cornell. Herb Cornell was involved in all kinds of activities, and he had a big job, and he had a big family, and he was able to juggle all those things. And I would look at people like that and say, well, if they can do it, why can't I?
So now that you're retired from the bank, what are you doing with your time?
Well, I'm first of all enjoying myself to a great degree. When I retired 5 years ago, I told myself that I was going to turn the page of the book and start a whole new chapter and not look back. And so when I retired, I got off the board. I have absolutely no connection with the bank other than I'm still a shareholder, and I do have an office down on the second floor, but I do not get engaged with banking activities at all. I try to get up in the morning by doing a workout. Then I usually come in the office for a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours, maybe 5 hours, maybe not come in at all. And then, just today's a good example. I went to the gym for about an hour in the morning, and then from there I went directly to the Hawaii Tourism Authority where we had a board meeting. From there, I grabbed a quick sandwich and came up here, and from here I'm going to rush back to my home, I guess. No, I'm going to Costco first.
Oh. And then I know that some people have mentioned your name as mentoring them as younger entrepreneurs. Are you spending a lot of time doing that as well?
I am doing some of that. I'm involved in a number of these Act 221, or I guess it's Act 215 companies now, and I'm doing that not only because I think there's some good investment opportunities, but I really enjoy seeing young people starting off as entrepreneurs here in this town. There are so many folks right now that still believe that there are not many opportunities here in Hawaii, and I got to tell you, there are probably more opportunities in the state of Hawaii right now than maybe any other state in the country. Our economy is as strong, or maybe stronger, than any place else in the United States. Our unemployment rate is, I think, about 2.8% or something. It's less than 3%. It's by far the lowest. And I've was active in the business community for over 40 years, and I can tell you I have never seen more opportunities in the state of Hawaii right now than there has been in my lifetime.
Thanks for joining us today on Greater Good Radio. For more information or a transcript of today's show, please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. This is your host, Evan Leong and Carrie Leong, saying please join us next time for another episode of Greater Good Radio, Hawaii.